जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त ज्ञानतिमिरस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यनामोपदेष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सारभूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री राधा कृष्ण पदां सहगणं श्री हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ताराम सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी कृपा सिन्धुर्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम वाचालं बहुमुदायते गिरिं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं हरे कृष्ण. So we are reading this most beautiful pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 3. We are on text 202. So Lord Chaitanya, the house of Advaita Acharya. So during the day, the devotees discussed subject matters concerning Krishna. And at night, there was a great festival of congregational chanting at the house of Advaita Acharya. Mother Sach Ananditahana Sachi Karena Randhana Sachi Karena Randhana. Okay, Randhana means cooking. Shukhe Bhojana Kare Prabhu Lala Bhaktadana. Mother Sachi cooked with great pleasure. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with the devotees, accepted the prasadam with great pleasure. So this is very, very significant, extremely significant. The mood with which we are cooking, we cook with great pleasure, not by force. So because she's cooking for Lord Chaitanya, so she's experiencing great pleasure. We should not be angry or feel hatred that I'm in the kitchen, I have to cook. Then you become sick from that cooking and you make everybody else become sick. So Anandita Hana. Then please Sachi Mata Karena Randhana. Devahuti Randhana, how come it means cooking? Bengali word. Randhana says translated. Randhana is translated as cooking.
Mataji, even in Sanskrit also, I think the same word is there. And in Bengali, they particularly now they say ranna, meaning food or to cook. Ranna korche. He is cooking food.
Hey, so with Anandita Hana. So
In
Shikara,
in
yes,
Gujarati also we say randhvu. रांधवू मतलब पकाना. रसोई करना मतलब रांधवू, जैसे प्योर गुजराती में बोलते हैं.
I see I'm learning words. I simply love this Chaitanya Charitamrita. See, like when we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are developing culture. We are learning the lifestyle, how to speak, how to deal with others, right? So, Anandita Hana Sachikarena Randhana. Sukhe. So, because it was cooked with so much ananda, so Sukhe Bhojana Kare Prabhu Lana Bhakta Gana. So, everybody was enjoying having this food, right? Bhojan. Sukhe Bhojana Kare. I mean, how happy you are, you know? You cook, somebody's enjoying what you cook, right? I think that's the perfection of anybody's cook, any cook's life. You cook and so it's so good, right? Acharyera Shraddha Bhakti Griha Sampada Dhane Sakala Safala Haina Prabhura Aradhane. This way, all the opulences of Advaita Acharya, his faith, Shraddha, his faith, devotion, bhakti, griha, home, sampada, is opulence, sampada, honey, is wealth, was successfully safala, safala. Fal means fruit, right? Safal means, we translate it, I mean, it is completely fruitful, right? So, Safala, Haila, Prabhura, Aradhane was successfully utilized in the worship of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the reason why we are happy to cook or to clean our house, to decorate our house, is because of Krishna. You know, actually, I was just having this small program that we take for the navies, and it's all creative arts. You know? So, and it's all our devotees, and we have children, etc. And when others who are involved in social work, some type of community work or social work, they are amazed to see what we are doing. They're totally amazed at what else. Like we just had a meeting, we call all the members of our institute. So this lady, she worked in our institute for 2 months, and she said, what we are on is excellent, excellent. So why is it so excellent? Because the devotees, they do something excellent to please Krishna, right? Whatever they may be doing, it is to please Krishna. So all the opulences of Advaita Acharya. And even we put up, the kids, they were between 4-year-old kids, all right, 4-year-old kids, up to like 15, 16, they put up a program, right, on Dhruva Maharaj. And there was another group who joined us. So that lady, the group was totally fascinated, absolutely fascinated by the program that these children put up. And they came to me and like they told me, next time, please invite them again. You know? Somebody may take Bhagavatam and put up a program from stories from Bhagavatam. But when the devotees who are empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, when they put up a program, something very special happened. Like Mahaprabhu himself come on stage, Ramachandra come on stage, Hanuman come on stage, everybody come on stage. It's so alive. I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to attend our programs. Shikala, I think, right? Shikala, our Maitri festivals.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Maitri festival. I
I have
have,
also attended a few, Mataji, a few of them. Brahma
Yeah.
Samhita, Brahma Samhita. I was there.
yeah, you were also there. You were actually the host, right? Yes. And I always think, oh my God, I don't know what disaster will come on stage. And then what happened? The audience is so happy. And I say, okay, so Krishna himself came on stage, right? So because we are using everything was successfully utilized in the worship of Lord Chaitanya, therefore it becomes subtle and never becomes subtle. Advaita Acharya said an ideal example for all household devotees. In his reception of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, and in his execution of a daily festival of his home, if one has a proper means and wealth, so Prabhupada is qualifying this. If one has a proper means and wealth, he should occasionally invite the devotees of Lord Chaitanya who are engaged in preaching all over the world and hold a festival at home simply by distributing prasadam and talking about Krishna during the day and holding congregational chanting for at least 3 hours in the evening. Right. This procedure must be adopted in all centers of the Krishna consciousness movement. Thus, they will daily perform Sankirtan Yagya, so 3 hours. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32, the daily performance of Sankirtan Yagya is recommended. One should worship Yagya Sankirtane Praye Yajanti Sumedhasaha. One should worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his four associates, the Panch Tattva, by distributing prasadam and holding congregational chanting. Indeed, that yagya or sacrifice is most recommended in this age of Kali. In this age, other yagyas are not possible to perform. But this yagya can be performed everywhere and anywhere without difficulty. Yes, Anupama Madhuri, do you like to read?
Hare Krishna. Text 204. सचिरानंद बड़े देखी पुत्र मुखा भोजना करण पूर्ण कैला निज सुखा. As Mother Sachi constantly saw the face of her son and fed him, her own happiness increased and was indeed complete. एमता द्वैत गृहे भक्त गणा मिले वांछिला कटका दीना महा कुतूहले. In this way, at Advaita Acharya's house, all the devotees met and passed some days together in a greatly festive mood. आराधने प्रभु कहे सब भक्त गण निज निज गृहे सबे करहा गमन. The next day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees to return to their respective homes.
Yes, I just want to say one thing on this. Mother Sachi constantly saw the face of her son and fed him. So this is a very, very important part of the life of the mother, of a lady, woman, right? So she feeds her child. She has it with her own hand. She wants to cook and feed the child, right? Before you used to say ghar ka khana, right? Nothing can match ghar ka khana. But you know what they did? They put an advertisement. The restaurant put up the advertisement. Our cooking is as good as mommy's cooking, right? They put up this advertisement, and all the kids, they migrated towards the restaurants, right? So mother has to compete with the restaurants. You have to complete. And actually, for the husband, the wife is also the mother when it comes to feeding. Right? She's also the mother. So this is a very important aspect. Yeah, continue.
आराधिने प्रभु कहे सब भक्तगण निज निज गृह सभे करन गमन. The next day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees to return to their respective homes. घरे गिए करे सभा कृष्ण संकीर्तन पुनरापि आमा संगे हई बन मिलिना. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also asked them to execute the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord at their homes, and he assured them that they would be able to meet him again. कबुवा तुम्हारा करीबे नीलाद्रि गमन कबुवा शिवामी करीते गंगा स्नान. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them, sometimes you will come to Jagannath Puri and sometimes I shall come and bathe in the Ganges. Nityananda Gosai Pandita Jagananda Damodar Pandit Ara Datta Mukunda Vichari Janacharya Dile Prabhu Shani Janani Prabodha Kari Vandila Charani. Sri Advaita Acharya sent 4 persons, Nityananda Gosai, Jagananda Pandit, Damodar Pandit and Mukunda Datta, to accompany the Lord. After pacifying his mother, Sachimata, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submitted prayers to her lotus feet. Tandra Pradikshana Kare Karila Gamana, Ethacharya Ghare Uthila Krandana. When everything was arranged, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu circumambulated his mother and then started for Jagannath Puri. In the house of Advaita Acharya, there arose tumultuous crying. Nirapeksh.
Yeah. So here, when everything was arranged, right? So meaning now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he satisfied Advaita Acharya. And then now he said, now, okay, now all of you go home. Right? So he has taken sannyas and that cannot be denied. So in between, the entire village of Navadvip came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But now he said, now everybody should go home. So after pacifying his mother, Sachimata, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submitted prayers to her lotus feet. And when everything was arranged, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu circumambulated his mother and then started for Jagannath Puri. In the house of Advaita Acharya, there was tumultuous. Priti, you can read?
Yes, Mataji. निरपेक्षहना प्रभु शीघ्र च लीला कांदिते कांदिते आचार्य पश्चात च लीला. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unaffected. He left swiftly and Advaita Acharya followed him, weeping. Purport. As Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, the word nirapeksh means not being affected by anything material and remaining fixed in the service of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not very much care for the roaming tumelet and cry at the house of Advaita Acharya, which he heard when starting for Jagannath Puri. Worldly moralists, they may criticize Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for being very cruel, but the Lord did not care for such criticism. As the world teacher of this Krishna conscious movement, he actually showed that a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by the worldly affection. The best course is to engage in rendering service to the Lord and become callous to material objectives. Externally, everyone is attached to material things, but if one becomes entangled in such things, he cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness should not care for the so-called morality of the material world if that morality opposes the service of the Lord. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally shown, one cannot properly execute Krishna consciousness without being neutral. Should I continue, Mataji?
Yeah. So here, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas and he left. His disana, he has taken sannyas, so he went on with his duty. So it happened, that devotees who are, who leave everything of the material world and they join the Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada is speaking here. Then they're criticized They're criticized by others. You don't have feeling for anybody, etc., etc. But Prabhupada is saying, read it again.
I'll continue, Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhupada is saying that. Prabhupada is as the world teacher of this Krishna consciousness movement, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually showed that a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by worldly affection. Remember, Mahaprabhu already told his mother, I can never give you up, right? I cannot give up my affection for you. I'm not indifferent to you. But in order to search out Krishna, certain things are required. And simply to be entangled in worldly affection is not the way. So here Prabhupada is explaining. And he actually showed that a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by worldly affection. The best course is to engage in rendering service to the Lord and to become callous to material objectives. Externally, everyone is attached to material things. But if one becomes entangled in such things, he cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness should not care for the so-called morality of the material world if that morality opposes the service of the Lord. So if it's not compatible with it, then it should be given. Okay, Devahuti, you can read.
কত হরে কৃষ্ণ কত দূরে গিয়ে প্রভু করি যোধা হাট আচার্যে প্রবোধি কহে কিছু মিষ্টা বাত after he had followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for some distance, Advaita Acharya was petitioned by him with folded hands. The Lord spoke the following sweet words. জননী প্রবোধি করো ভক্ত সমাধান তুমি ব্যাঘ্রা হইলে কারো না রহিবে প্রাণ Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please pacify all the devotees and my mother. If you become agitated, no one will be able to continue to exist. এটা বলি প্রভু তারে করি অলিঙ্গন নিবৃত্তি করিয়া কইলা স্বচ্ছন্দ গমন Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita Acharya and stopped him from following any further. Then, without anxiety, he proceeded to Jagannath Puri. Ganga তীরে তীরে প্রভু চারি জন সাথে নীলাদ্রি চলিলা প্রভু ছত্রভোগা পাঠে ঠিকই বলেছি The Lord with the other 4 persons went along the banks of the Ganges through the path of Chhatrabhoga towards Niladri, Jagannath Puri. Purport. In the southern section of the Eastern Railway, in the district of 24 Parganas, is a station named Magrahat. If one goes to the southeastern side of the stations for some 14 miles, there is a place called Joyanagar. About 6 miles south of this Joyanagar station is a village named Chatrabhog. Sometimes this village is called Khadi. In this village is a deity of Lord Shiva known as Vaijurkanth. A festival takes place this every year during the month of Chaitra, March and April. The festival is known as Nand Mela. At the present moment, the Ganges does not flow there. On the same railway line is another station known as Baruipur. And near this station is another place called Shara. Formerly, this village was also situated on the banks of the Ganges. One can go from this village to Panihati and from there to Varahanagar north of Calcutta. In those days, the Ganges flowed to the south of Calcutta through Kalighat, which is still known as Adiganga. From Baroipur, the Ganges branched out and flowed through Diamond Harbour near the Mathurapur police station. It is to be noted that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through all these places on his way to Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mongole Prabhu
Yeah, 1 minute.
Leela.
Yeah, 1 minute. Amrita Radhe, your hand is up.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Mataji, my question is like, just now we studied how Sachi Mata was feeding Mahaprabhu and she was feeling happy seeing his face, and then you also commented that that's mothers should feed their children. So that's point one. But then we read just now in the purport that for the execution of Krishna consciousness, Mahaprabhu uh, did not care so much for the crying. They just he and Prabhupada recommends that we should remain focused on our service. So now, as mothers who are also aspiring Krishna conscious, devotees. So then, how do we reconcile all this, and what should our consciousness be, and how our actions should be? If you could guide on that.
That's right. Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas. Right. He has taken sannyas. And he's moving out from home, and he's not ready to get entangled by the motherly love. Right? So he just moved on. Right? He just saying yes. So there are, if every mother will say, okay, let me just be a sannyasi, then all the children will die, right? Nobody will grow up, right? So this is required for different people, different emotions are required. So if you're a mother, of course you have to feed your child, right? And when the child is growing up, we should teach them cooking, right? I'm speaking, right? They should be able to cook a meal for the family by the time they're a teenager. Like Prabhupada, he learned cooking from his mother, right? And when he was 70 years old, and he cooked for the hippies, and he started the Hare Krishna movement, right? He cooked for Dr. Mishra. Dr. Mishra was so sick. Prabhupada cooked him and fed him as a mother. And he got back his health. And when one disciple, among the hippies, Prabhupada had cooked and given some things. So I think it was spicy, so that boy, he was on fire. His mind was on fire. Prabhupada took a banana, right? Prabhupada took a banana and mashed it in rice, and with his hand, okay, he did this, he said, eat this, right? Should understand the emotions, okay? So if you want to put off the fire of this summer, have banana crushed in rice. You can put down the fire of this summer. All right. Everybody should know who they are. It's very important that each one of us, we know who we are and what is our duty, what time, right? We should not do the right thing at the wrong time, right? So therefore, Therefore, unless Sumedha Saha, we read somewhere, right? Yajanti, Sumedha Saha, we read somewhere that only those who are in Yagya, Sankirtan, and Praya, Yajanti, Sumedha Saha. Therefore, to practice Krishna consciousness, you need to be very intelligent. If you have no intelligence, you cannot practice. And Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us intelligence by his personal behavior. Right? Okay, who's reading? Indira Radha, you want to read? You read?
No, I don't have any voice.
You can't read. Okay, Shashi?
Not well.
Okay, Shashi.
Yes, Master. Hare Krishna. Text 217. चैतन्य मंगल प्रभुर नीलाधारी गमन विस्तारी वरिने चैना दासा वृंदावन. In his book known as Chaitanya Mangala, Chaitanya Bhagavat Vrindavan Das Thakur has elaborately described the Lord's passage to Jagannath Puri. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Bengal, he passed through Atisara Gram, Varha Gram, and Chhatrabhog. He then reached the Odisha province, where he passed through Prayag Ghat, the Suvarna Rekha river, Remuna, Yajpura, where he bathed at the Dasa Vimudha Ghat on the Vaitani river, Katak, where the Mahanadi river flows, Bhuvaneshwar, where there is a big lake known as Bindu Sarovar, Kamalpur, and Atharnala. In this way, passing through all these and other places, he reached Jagannath Puri.
So we have been through this. We know about these places. Anybody? We know about these places. Katak, Bhubaneswar, Bindu Sarovar.
Katak I have been to. There Bindu Sarovar also. These are my latest visit when I went to Jagannath Puri. We went to Bhubaneswar as well. I know only this much.
Okay, so these are real places. Continue.
Advaita Grihi Prabhura, Vilasa Suni Ye Jana, Achiri Milaye Tandri, Krishna Prema Dhana. If one hears the activities of the Lord at the house of Advait Acharya, he will certainly very soon attain the riches of love of Krishna. Shri Rupa Raghunath Padiyara Asa Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purport to Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 3rd chapter, describing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's stay at the house of Advait Acharya, his acceptance of the sannyas order, and observation of daily festivals at Advaitacharya house, his congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and his feasting with all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
So chanting, feasting, festivals, and at the same time sannyas. Right? It sounds contradictory, right? Chanting, dancing, feasting, and sannyas, meaning we are enjoy on one hand and sannyas we're making some people cry. Right? All right. Amrita Rani, are you able to read?
Yes, Mataji. But one quick question here. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's blessing that if one hears the activities of the Lord at the house of Advaitacharya, he will very soon attain the riches of love of Krishna. So we can like regularly read maybe the text of these chapters and then hope for Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's blessings and attain the love of Krishna sooner. Can that be a strategy?
Meaning, go on reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? The purpose of Shri
Ah,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the purpose of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to awaken that love in us, right?
yeah, true.
Okay.
Okay, so all right, I will read Mataji. Next chapter. Chapter 4, Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. In his Amrit Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the fourth chapter, passing along the path of Chhatrabhoga and coming to Vridha Mantreshwara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached the border of Orissa. On his way, he enjoyed transcendental bliss by chanting and begging alms in different villages. In this way, he reached the celebrated village of Remuna, where there is a deity of Gopinath. There he narrated the story of Madhavendra Puri as he had heard it from his spiritual master, Ishvara Puri. The narration is as follows. One night, while in Govardhan, Madhavendra Puri dreamed that Gopal deity was within the forest. The next morning, he invited his neighborhood friends to accompany him to excavate the deity from the jungle. He then established the deity of Sri Gopalji on the top of Govardhan hill with great pomp. Gopal was worshipped and Annakut festival was observed. This festival was known everywhere and many people from neighboring villages came to join. One night the Gopal deity again appeared to Madhavendra Puri in a dream and asked him to go to Jagannath Puri to collect some sandalwood pulp and smear it on the body of the deity. Having received this order, Madhavendra Puri immediately started for Orissa. Traveling through Bengal, he reached Remuna village and there received a pot of condensed milk offered to the deity of Gopinathji. This pot of condensed milk was stolen by Gopinath and delivered to Madhavendra Puri. Since then, Gopinath deity has been known as Shirachora Gopinath, the deity who stole the pot of condensed milk. After reaching Jagannath Puri, Madhavendra Puri received permission from the king to take out one mound of sandalwood and 20 tolas of camphor. Aided by two men, he brought these things to Remuna. Again, he saw in a dream that Gopal at Govardhan Hill desired that very sandalwood to be turned into pulp mixed with camphor and smeared over the body of Gopinathji. Understanding that would satisfy Gopal deity at Govardhan, Madhavendra Puri executed the order and returned to Jagannath Puri. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated this story for Lord Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees and praised the pure devotional service of Madhavendra Puri. When he recited some verses composed by Madhavendra Puri, he went into an ecstatic mood, but when he saw that many people were assembled, he checked himself and ate some sweet rice prasadam. Thus he passed that night, and the next morning he again started for Jagannath Puri. Okay. Text 1, chapter 4, text 1. Yasmai datum chorayan क्षीरभाण्डं गोपीनाथ क्षीरचोराभिदो भूत श्रीगोपालः प्रादुरासीद्वशः सन् यत्प्रेम्णा तं माधवेन्द्रं नतोऽस्मि. I offer my respectful obeisances to Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Shirachora. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopal, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to the public vision. Bhaktivinoda Thakur annotates that Gopal deity was originally installed by Vajra, the great grandson of Krishna. Madhavendra Puri rediscovered Gopal and established him on top of Govardhan Hill. This Gopal deity is now situated at Nathdwara and is under the management of descendants of Vallabhacharya. The worship of deity is very luxurious, and one who goes there can purchase varieties of prasadam by paying a small price.
Knows this deity, right? Chinaji. The deity
Yes.
Chinaji, right? Unnata Dwara. All right, Shikala, wait. This is your line now. This is your sampradaya.
Thank you, Mataji. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय हो, श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय हो, श्री अद्वैत प्रभु की जय हो तथा श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के समस्त भक्तों की जय हो। नीलाद्रि गमन जगन्नाथ दर्शन सार्वभौम भट्टाचार्य प्रभुर मिलन ये सब लीला प्रभुर दास वृंदावन विस्तारी करिया छेन उत्तम वर्णन। महाप्रभु जगन्नाथपुरी गए और भगवान जगन्नाथ के मंदिर के दर्शन किए। वे सार्वभौम भट्टाचार्य से भी मिले। इन सब लीलाओं का अत्यंत विस्तृत वर्णन वृंदावन दास ठाकुर द्वारा अपने ग्रंथ चैतन्य भागवत में किया गया है। सहजे विचित्र मधुर चैतन्य विहार वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृतेर धार। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की सभी लीलाएं स्वभावतः अत्यंत अद्भुत और मधुर है और जब उनका वर्णन वृंदावन दास ठाकुर द्वारा किया जाता है तब वे अमृत की धारा के समान बन जाती है। अतएव ताहा वर्णिले होय पुनरुक्ति दंभ करी वर्णी यदि तेछे नाही शक्ति। इसलिए मेरा सविनय निवेदन है कि चूंकि इन लीलाओं का सुंदर वर्णन वृंदावन दास ठाकुर द्वारा पहले ही हो चुका है, अतएव उन लीलाओं की पुनरावृत्ति दंभ की परिचायक होगी। अतएव ऐसा करना अच्छा नहीं होगा। मुझ में ऐसी शक्ति नहीं है। चैतन्य मंगले यहाँ करिलो वर्णन सूत्र रूपे से लीला करी एक सूचन। अतएव चैतन्य मंगल अब चैतन्य भागवत नाम से विख्यात में वृंदावन दास ठाकुर जिन लीलाओं का पहले से विस्तृत वर्णन कर चुके हैं उन्हें मैं सूत्र रूप में प्रस्तुत कर रहा हूँ। तार सूत्रे आछे ते हो ना कैले वर्णन यथा कथचित करी से लीला कथन। उन्होंने कुछ लीलाओं का विस्तृत वर्णन नहीं किया है, प्रत्युत सार मात्र दिया है। अतएव मैं इस पुस्तक में उनका वर्णन करने का प्रयास करूंगा। अतएव तार पाए करी नमस्कार तार पाय अपराध ना हो कामर। अतएव मैं वृंदावन दास ठाकुर के चरण कमलों में अपना सादर नमस्कार अर्पित करता हूँ। मुझे आशा है कि मैं इस कार्य से उनके चरण कमलों के प्रति अपराध नहीं होगा।
So this is how the description of Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and what Srila Vrindavan Das, what Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami will describe. So all these leelas, so I think we are becoming very anxious to read Chaitanya Bhagavat, right? Right, because everywhere says, okay, I have given only this much description, but more description is in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So I think all of us, we are waiting to read Chaitanya Bhagavat. All right, so who wants to read now? Rashmi, are you there? You can read? Okay, Rashmi, okay. Anupama, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Text 10. ए माता महाप्रभु चलिला नीलाचले चारी भक्त संगे कृष्ण कीर्तन कुतूहले. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded towards Jagannath Puri with 4 of his devotees, and he chanted the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra, with great eagerness. भिक्षा लागी एक दिन एक ग्राम गया Apane Bahuta Anna Anila Magiya. Each day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to a village and collected a great quantity of rice and other grains for the preparation of prasada. Pathe bada bada dani vigna nahi kare, ta sabare kripa kari aila re munare. There were many rivers on the way, and each river there was a tax collector. They did not hinder the Lord, however, and he showed them mercy. Finally, he reached the village of Remuna. There is a railway station named Baleshwar, and 5 miles to the west is the village of Remuna. The temple of Shivchor Gopinath still exists in this village, and within the temple, the Samadhi tomb of Rasikananda Prabhu, the chief disciple of Shamananda Goswami, can still be found.
Remuna. You've been to Remuna. Okay. I also went to Remuna. I know it's very far. It's a lot of journey. Remuna.
I read recently that this Remuna deity is actually the deity created by Lord Ramchandra. When when he was in the forest, Sita Ma told him that you look so beautiful. Then Ramchandra ji said, no, there is a form of me which is even more beautiful. And then he created this Tribhanga form. And he was worshipped by Sita Ma, then Lakshman, and then handed over.
Shivchor Gopinath.
Yes, the Remuna deity.
Cool.
Right? Trikala Mataji, is it right? It's the same.
Go on.
Yes. So, text 13. Remunate Gopinatha Parama Mohana Bhakta Kari Kaila Prabhutanra Darshana. The deity of Gopinath in the temple of Ramuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. Tanra Pad Padma Nikate Pranama Karite Tanra Pushpa Chura Padila Prabhura
Mathate.
Mathate, yes. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of the Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
The helmet, what it says in Bengali? Pushpa Chura. Pushpa Chura. It fell on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chudapana Mahaprabhura Anandita Mana Bahu Nitya Gita Kaila Lana Bhakta Gana. When the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased, and thus he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. Prabhura Prabhava Dekhi Prema Rupa Guna Vismita Haila Gopinathera Dasa Gana. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. Nana Rupe Pritye Kaila Prabhura Sevana Shiratri Taha Prabhu Karila Vanchana. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways, and that night the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath.
All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. See now, nobody knows who he is, right? Actually, we were thinking sometimes we say that if, God or if a God walks in among us, we may not know that this is God. Or we give the example that let's say a famous personality. Like yesterday, one devotee was telling me how one film star, she came to the temple and she was part of the crew for Ramchandra. So she was one of the main characters there. And she came here for Ram Navami, and the chowkidar said, you join the queue. All right, you be in the queue. So So this devotee is telling me the scene that broke out at the gate. So, because we have this system, if you are a donor, you're on this line. If you are VIP, VVIP on this line, this whatever, So she happened to enter in the general crowd and nobody knew who she is, right? So she was furious. She was screaming her head off. Like, why so bad? Why so? So they are thinking that Krishna is so attractive, right? Krishna is so attractive. Right? All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty, and his transcendental qualities. So meaning that when somebody is Krishna, okay, is Krishna, or somebody his Krishna eyes, fully Krishna eyes, people will notice that person. He's different from others, right? And there is like you feel affection for somebody who you don't know. You feel affection, you feel attraction. Hmm? So, so now just imagine the flowers fell on the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when the deity's helmet fell upon his head, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased. And thus, and he chanted and danced in various ways with his devotees. Do you remember somebody else? Like flower garland fell on him.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj.
Prabhupada.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his mother took him on the cart of Jagannath and placed the child, right? On the lotus feet of Jagannath. So the flower garlands fell on Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. So these are all auspicious signs. Nana Rupe Pritye Kaila Prabhura Sevana Seratri Pahan Prabhu Parilava Vanchana. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways. And that night, the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath. Mahaprasada Kshira Lobhe Dahila Prabhu Tatham. Purveshwara Pure Tanre Kahiya Chena Katha. No, the Lord remained there because he was very eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to the Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri, of what had once happened there. All right, so we're going to read about the story of Shri Gopinath next week. All right, so we can't miss this episode. Hare Krishna. Okay, so actually, if some of you have little time, I can discuss little bit about our services. It's for in Bombay. You can just stay on. Oh, okay, let me go out of